One. Larry Jaeger, President, Hunter Sports Marketing. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. And you are, and I forgot, I'm sorry, I forgot to even ask you this. Are you in the lovely tropical paradise of Cleveland, Ohio, in that area?
Cleveland, Ohio, absolutely. And yeah, it is a tropical paradise. Actually, a nice day today. So we're blessed.
Exactly. So, well, thanks for having us. Thanks for being on. And I want to just get right into it and really give you an opportunity to tell a little bit about yourself, your story, how you got to, that moment, that moment of, Hunter Sports Marketing and where you saw the opportunity in the marketplace. But why don't we just kind of take a step back? And I know there was a life before, Hunter Sports Marketing. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. And, first and foremost, Rob, thank you very, very much for the invite. Enjoy your podcast very, very much. So honored to be on with you today. Kind of the long story short, I've been a corporate America guy for many, many years. Came out of technology, worked for 10 years running sales teams for Apple as a director of sales. Worked for Intel, for Salesforce, and Dell Computer, among others. So I have a long history of being in corporate America and making technology do disruptive things in the marketplace. About 5 years ago, decided to really explore my entrepreneurial itch, and I wanted to do something that not only had to do with bringing together buyers and sellers, which I've done my whole life, but also something that would have much more of a social impact. Being a lover of sports and sports marketing, I launched Hunter Sports Marketing, which is a company that connects high schools with companies for mutually beneficial partnerships. Really helping the schools, anybody who knows anything about school districts today and the state of education, not only schools but also collegiate, there's a large need for funding. There's a lot of crisis in the funding mechanisms in each and every state across the country. So any type of additional revenue stream is very, very appreciated by these school districts. What school districts are just starting to realize with the help of a company like mine is that they do have very, very marketable assets which are lucrative revenue streams for them. And that's essentially their sports programs. Friday night football, basketball games, all of these are not only very well attended, but also connects the families in the community with the community itself. Advertisers and companies are very much realizing today that it's a fantastic way to now support their local community and their schools by partnering with the schools and a tremendous way for them to reach a very elusive demographic, which is families with children. So what we do is we bring together those companies and the school districts, and we do naming rights for high school football stadiums, sponsorships, major sponsorships, and that sort of thing.
So, what was that aha moment? I know you mentioned that you worked for Apple on the educational side, and you've worked with superintendents in schools. Was it something that you had that aha moment when you're sitting there talking to a superintendent of schools or school district or a principal, and you said, this is something in this space that there really is a need because they're so underfunded, and I think I have a solution?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, Rob, and the answer is there absolutely was an aha moment, and it's this. When I was with Apple, what we were doing was called one-to-one initiatives. We were taking Apple computers and laptops and we're going to school districts, and essentially you throw out the textbooks, you throw out the chalkboard. Every student gets a laptop, and all of their curriculum was right there on a computer. When schools did this, when they transformed their entire student body to a digital environment, a digital learning environment, kids today are digital natives. They grew up with technology. Every single metric in a school that you would want to see in a student was exponentially increased, off the charts. Attendance, engagement, test scores, everything. So as far as a school, it seems it's a no-brainer to be able to put technology into the hands of these students, because everything got better in the schools. And what was very interesting is that the biggest incremental jump was at those at-risk school districts. And what I mean by that are some of the poorest districts in the country: Detroit Public School District, Chicago Public School Districts. A lot of these big city, urban type districts saw the largest incremental leap in this type of technology and the learning that it was able to bring to the students. My role at Apple was to have relationships with the highest levels within those schools. And so essentially I was having conversations with superintendents of school districts every single day. What the conversation sounded like was exactly the same thing every time. Yes, we realize that students today are digital natives. Yes, we realize that they learn better with technology in their hands. And yes, we realize all of these metrics that we get measured on all grow and explode exponentially. But we don't have any money. The state cut our budget. Our tax levy failed. We have to cut staff. Over and over and over, Rob, I hear this same conversation. And I would walk out, and it just broke my heart, because quite honestly, when I saw technology in the hands of students and how it engaged the learning in the classroom and how creative they were able to be and the impact on learning, and knowing that these schools are struggling to be able to put these types of tools in the hands of students, I said there just has to be a better way. So when I left Apple, I decided that I wanted to do something that addressed that specific issue, that had social impact, and that was a profitable company. I wanted to build a company. So I have a startup. It's grown exponentially over the last 4 or 5 years, and it addresses just that. It takes what schools have as a marketable asset, which are their athletic programs, and it enables them to market it and advertise it just like professional and collegiate sports do. So that was my aha moment.
I think, we talked about this. It's definitely not a new space for people to be in. I think, when people try to scale it too quickly, and a lot of times they don't have the access to the regular season, or they don't have the ability to do the activation. I think that's where I've seen, seems like sometimes, either you got to roll them up to bigger entities. What I really love about what you're doing, and it certainly was in your testimonials that you had on your website, was that number one is, in my opinion, the high school sports space is the new frontier. Besides what people could arguably be the sports space, but still within the community, high school sports is still the new frontier for sponsors, for media, when I say new, we've been saying this for about 5 years now, but it's still an untapped market. And I think from the general marketplace and from the brands and from folks that are out there that've been in this industry are probably shaking their heads now. Yes, the question comes into how do you activate against it consistently and at a level that a lot of these brands need. And a lot of them don't have the expertise, relationships that someone like yourself has, who knows what the needs and wants are of a superintendent, a school district, their board of governors who have to approve that money when it's coming in. I think the question now, I think a lot of people, and you answered it before, is how do you scale it? How do you scale what you're doing where you still have that personal relationship with the superintendents of schools and, grow that part of the business? Because everybody will agree with you that this is the space to be in. So, talk a little bit about what your long-term plans are to bring your same service into multiple states.
Yeah, a fantastic question. You're exactly right. In any type of sponsorship sales, scaling the sales and then making sure the activation is spot on for the advertiser, so they're getting the return on investment that they need, are the two most critical components in this space. And what we do at our company is that's what we own. School districts do not have, as a rule, a marketing department. We engage with the school district. We become their marketing team, and so we are a partner with the school. We are then able to work with clients, regional advertisers, whatever, and we're able to find them the correct opportunities and inventory at these school districts that works for their business and then gives them the most exposure. And we're able to efficiently be able to activate that at one or multiple school districts. What's very interesting is you mentioned scale. What we're launching right now at my company is a cloud-based technology platform. Remember, I'm a technology guy, and I came out of Apple and Intel and all of those companies. We're building and launching this summer a cloud-based technology platform that essentially connects these companies and brands with available schools and inventory all across the country. And what this platform will be able to do is it's a matchmaking platform. And so what happens is we will be able to scale to regional and national advertisers, which is very hard today because right now it's manual, each sale, each school, each piece of inventory, one at a time. The platform will allow us to be able to, let's say, have a national advertiser, a Dick's Sporting Goods or an Under Armour or somebody like that, be able to go into the platform, be able to search very specific demographics and put in what they'd like. So, for instance, Dick's Sporting Goods might be able to put in 100 zip codes that correlate to all of their retail stores in specific markets, and then they would be able to find the appropriate communities and high schools that match that, and then very efficiently be able to get advertising purchased and, more importantly, activated on the back end by our company. And this platform will not only help scale that for advertisers in the schools, but also create tremendous efficiencies in the marketplace by having a cloud-based platform.
Do you see? So that's interesting. So it's almost a search engine where they could geo-target their demographic within, within certain markets specific to their product, or is there a data capture element to that, or CRM? How does that work?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is going to take advantage of big data on the back end. So there's going to be a big engine on the back end that lists all of the schools and inventory that would be available for a potential company or advertiser. Think of this as, if you know Zillow in the real estate market, if I'm a buyer, I'm able to look at specific zip codes, I'm able to look at a specific price range, and so I can filter on exactly what I desire as a buyer. And then a list of all of those available homes would come up. This is exactly the same. It's a matchmaking platform, so advertisers and companies would be able to go into this platform and then be able to search that. Schools would be able to list their inventory, anything from naming rights, scoreboard advertising, sideline advertising. We're doing streaming of sports, basketball, and football games. Advertisers could potentially sponsor that. And so all of that would be available, and it very efficiently would match make and then activate those advertising and sponsorships for companies.
Is that piece of your business, is that going to be under Hunter Sports Marketing, or is that going to be a standalone?
What we're doing is we're launching it under the name of Sponsor Burst, and that's going to be the Sponsor Burst platform. So that will actually stand alone as a platform.
Wow, that's going to be interesting. Wow. So I think you figured out how to scale it without too much heavy lifting, right?
Well,
You're not
that's the hope and desire.
Yeah. No, well, you answered my question. That definitely is a way to scale it. And then that's the first time I've heard of that in that way. And I think it's very smart. So,
Yeah.
So what's next after this, you take on the digital world of high school? Is there a way that, or any way else that you're looking, besides the sports side of it, now that you're getting into the schools, with this platform? Do you think does this tentacle out to STEM programs, arts?
Yes, absolutely. So an interesting piece of our business is that we partner with schools on streaming video. It's very high end. It's 4K, and we do streaming. So a lot of schools right now, we find a sponsor for them that enables them to stream their basketball games or stream their tournament games or football games and that sort of thing. What we're able to also do in this technology, to the point of your question, is that in STEM academies or other type of programs in classroom, we have a course capture capability of this streaming, and we're able to do that. So, for instance, schools could enable within their classroom streaming to expand their programs through distance learning, and then be able to have students go home, replay lectures, be able to just skip to specific clips of the lecture that they need to study, that sort of thing. So the course capture part of that is going to be very interesting, and that directly impacts the classroom learning itself. That came out of my background and working with Apple and the technology in classrooms. I think that part of it's going to be very exciting, and I think that would also appeal to a specific type of advertiser, the same type of advertiser who might sponsor PBS programs. You always see that, this PBS program sponsored by this company. I think there's a specific type of company that might want to have their name attached to specific types of courses. STEM is certainly one of them. A lot of companies that are very interested in the next generation of science and engineers and kind of creating a workforce of tomorrow. So I think that'll be a very interesting piece of our business as well.
No, I think it's very smart. Very, very smart. That's why I was asking the question, because I started thinking about it. So, man, I think there's so many applications and areas that sometimes when you start a business and you go into one area, you become very focused on that area, and then you become to realize that, boy, there's so many other tentacles that could go into this once we build the technology and we have the infrastructure for that. So it sounds like you got it all figured out there, Larry.
Yeah, well, you know what? Nobody has it all figured out, but we're plugging away, and I think we're doing pretty well so far.
You are, certainly. Last thing I'm going to leave you with is, how do people reach you? How do they get in contact with you? So give them some of your information.
Yeah, again, I'm Larry Jaeger, and that's spelled Jaeger, so you can reach out to me through a very simple email, larryjaeger@me.com. I have a phone number. You can reach me directly at 440-994-4499, and I can connect you with anybody in our company that might be able to help you. And we have a website, huntersportsmarketing.us.com.
Well, fantastic. Larry, you're a true gentleman. I'm so glad our paths have crossed. Enjoy the tropical weather up in the lovely Cleveland, Ohio. And I hope our paths do cross one day.
Absolutely. I appreciate it very much. Really love your podcast, and thanks to you and all of your listeners.
Well, thank you so much, Larry.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Take care
Take
now.
care.